You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. Yo, we live. It's the Washington Commanders post-game show. The Washington Commanders defeated the Atlanta Falcons 19-13. Glenn and Wole are your hosts, homie. Glenn, how are you feeling?
Doing fine, man. It's a nice well, now sun start coming out. I guess because sun start coming out now since the Commanders won. But it was a rainy day running football, which is what I like to see running football. Offensive line stood up. This Washington offensive line was consistent. It's another W for the Washington Commanders, man. It's another W, and fans should be happy.
Yeah, tough, gritty win, man. A lot of flows, a lot of things happened in that game, man, to kind of mess with your emotions. But at the end of the day, this team kind of ironed it out. They won it, you know what I mean, and they won in the trenches. They played old school, grounded out football, man, and it was a sight to behold. Hey, let's get to the particulars real quick before we get all up in the game. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Errrything. Also tweet us at ABG_Errrything and hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything and like our All Burgundy and Go Errrything Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Errrything YouTube channel. Hey, if y'all watching this on YouTube, hit the red subscribe button, like the video as well, man. We appreciate it. All right, Glenn, let's get right into it, man. Thoughts on the game, man? I mentioned that it was an old school Joe Gibbs type of grounded out football game, but what were your thoughts on the game?
I thought the game was pretty good. I thought I really do. I don't give this guy much credit. I thought Scott Turner did a decent job mixing some things up, making it more comfortable for the offense. And when he realized that the Washington offense could run, he was giving the Atlanta defense different runners, right? Different running styles.
Yeah.
You have Brian Robinson, who's that grind them out, run you over type guy, right? You have Antonio Gibson, who had a little bit flashy. Even we saw Jonathan Williams today. Gave a little bit. Gave a little bit of spark, right? He looked good. And so they was chunking them off, especially in the second half, where this Washington team was really picking up yards, 5 or 6 yards. I think this team averaged, with all those runners, they averaged like 4.8 yards per carry, right? And so he had a 100-yard rusher for the first time since Antonio Gibson, which was last season.
Yeah. You've been asking for that, man. You've been asking for that.
I've been asking for that, right?
Yeah.
Brian Robinson got 105 yards. Good to see him starting to grind out, right? Just imagine if this guy wouldn't have got shot at the beginning of the year.
True.
Picked up and how the running game would have been. You're starting to see that how the Washington Commanders doing that. He averaged 5.8 yards himself, right? So it's just starting to pick up a little bit in the offensive line, which is a key because this offensive line has played together 6 games now. Yeah. So they're building some cohesiveness together, right? So are you starting to see the start to gel together? Heineke had that one mistake. Well, I'm gonna say 2 mistakes. The interception was one.
Yeah, definitely.
And another mistake to Bates late.
A late pass, yeah. Could have been touchdown. And Scary, and you could say 3 because he had Scary on the following play on a rollout. Scary was open, and he overthrew him.
And he only had 138 yards passing the day. Kept it safe. Kept it safe. To me, I told y'all that I mentioned on the last show. He reminded me of Trent Dilfer the year the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl. Wasn't the best quarterback, but he was a safe quarterback, and he wasn't going to make too many turnovers. He's good for one a game, and he had the one today with the interception.
Yeah, I thought he played he managed the game well. You know what I mean? Like he makes mistakes. He makes, I think we all gotta like stop being overly critical with the dude about interceptions. He is who he is with that. Like I kind of tend to like, for me, who is critical, I'm a person who's critical on Taylor Heineke, but I'm like kind of over myself saying like, all right, oh, here we go again. He's gonna throw one. All right. Like it's gonna happen. Like he's not as quarterback savvy as other quarterbacks we've seen in the NFL, but he is a gamer. He's a manager for this team. The bell cow for this team, we said this before, we've been saying it, we've been hoping that this team would go this route, but it's a run the football. And you saw what you have with Antonio Gibson, Williams, and also Robinson Jr., who to me, like he is starting to get healthy, right? He is starting to get his swag. He is starting to feel good. And you mentioned over 100 yards this game. He had 105 yards, 5.8 yards a carry. Gibson following that, 32 yards. Jonathan Williams, 22 yards. Curtis Samuel with 13 yards. Like, there are so many. You even had Scary Terry running the football. You have so many options running the football that you can keep defenses off their toes. You don't have to always, for this team, they're not, even with all the weapons they have, with a Curtis Samuel in the passing game, De'Ami Brown, Terry McLaurin, all these weapons they have in the passing game. You don't have to air it out. I'm sorry, and Jahan Dotson, excuse me. You don't have to air it out. You know what I mean? If it doesn't work for you, if it doesn't work for your offense, you got guys who can run the football, win the time of possession, and and you can win a football game with a strong defense. This formula has won football games for years, man. And what you saw in this game, what they did with Atlanta, they got them tired down the stretch. You know what I mean? They got them tired in that second half. You saw people timid to tackle a Robinson Jr. You know what I'm saying? Robinson Jr. is wearing people down, so you can see a Jonathan Williams take over. I almost thought that Gibson was hurt or something in terms of how many times we saw Jonathan Williams out there. But this game plan, this what was put together was key. And then also we gotta talk about the key play. Deron Payne always making an impact in a football game. The guy tips the ball and allows Kendall Fuller, who I've stated, I feel like Kendall Fuller has been Washington's best DB for the last 4 weeks for real. And he's making plays. He's consistently making plays. He had the interception to basically win the football game. So, to me, in the end of the day, if you look at all phases of football, the offense did their job in terms of winning the time of possession, playing with the time of possession. I'm not sure they win the time of possession, Glenn. Did they win? The offense won the time of possession game.
Yeah, they won the time of possession game.
So you got that winning the time of possession game. Then you got special teams making plays with Tress. I know Sly missed the extra point, but he did make some key field goals at the same time. Made that big field goal to put him up 6. And then you had the defense making a big play down the stretch with Kendall Fuller getting that interception.
Yeah, time of possession was 33 minutes and 9 seconds. Washington Commanders, 26 minutes 51 seconds. Atlanta Falcons. My thing is pay Deron Payne.
I think everybody said it.
Pay Deron Payne, right? You have to keep those guys together. That defensive front, even though they gave up rushing yards today, and you can see Atlanta was getting gaping holes.
Yeah, man.
And that's because Atlanta's scheme, right? You got to understand the scheme that Atlanta's running. Atlanta's running a lot of your zone schemes, where it is double teams on the front 4, right? Now that makes your linebackers, your Jamin Davis and guys come up and make a tackle. So you have those guys. So they were in a deficit a little bit today, but you saw what Atlanta did too. Though Atlanta ran the ball on the outside, try to stay away from the front guys in the middle, make it Montez Sweat them make the tackle, and a Smith Williams make the play. And again, they made all the plays, but the zone read was killing them early. And all I can hear you always saying, you know what? Washington struggles against running quarterbacks. Washington struggles against running quarterbacks.
They were though, right? They were.
I
mean, it is what it is. I feel like they play it better this season. I think I'll be honest. I think they play it better this season. But also, I think that Mariota, as a passer, leaves a lot to be desired.
Right.
So, you can fixate on the zone read a little bit more. That's when you saw Williams at the end of the game, where he had an opportunity to knock Mariota back for some yards on that. It would have been like I want to call. You could say a sack, but it's really not a sack. It's a design run play. But you had the opportunity to tackle him right there, because that's what you're fixated on. Like, you should try to take that away from him. I would have preferred. I mean, I thought the game plan could have been more. Make Mariota beat us. Have most of these individuals in that box and make those wide receivers beat you one-on-one. But Jack Del Rio and this defense, they play their own style of defense, and it's been working for them. So I don't imagine them to go that route, but that's the way I would have did it. My man George said Washington sneaks away and overcomes the QB again. I mean, I'm not going to get on the Taylor Heineke thing. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it consistent. He's winning football games, right, Glenn? That's all we can do, right?
Yeah, that's it. All you can do. He's winning football games. And one thing, he's winning football games. I think in this winning stretch, the one thing the Washington Commanders have done, they have limited the penalties, right? Yeah. Today, beginning of the season, they were double-digit in penalties. Double-digit in penalties. One of the most penalized teams in NFL. Yeah. Today, they only had 4 penalties for 28 yards, right? So you see Washington has eliminated mistakes. We talked about it. They were beating themselves before. On third down, they would get penalties. The Montez Sweat penalty almost cost them the day, jumping off sides half the distance, right? So, again, it's those little type of things that they're eliminating to continue to win football games. Turnovers were limited today. That one turnover again behind Heineke. It's good to see Antonio Gibson run the ball. There was a negative on Antonio Gibson. I said it was a 7-minute. It's a 7-minute mark when Washington got the football. The first play back when they after they stopped Atlanta, Antonio Gibson gets the ball. Even though it's a zone read, a stretch out to the left, he goes out of bounds. Don't go out of bounds. Go down. Stay inside. You run time off the clock. But he goes out of bounds. to those type of plays could come back and bite you in the butt. I think I put in the text chat in our chat early when they missed a field goal and Joey slide, whatever case may be, they may come back and bite them in the butt. If you have any alarms about this today, the Washington offense still didn't put above 20 points. That is my alarming thing today. They got the win.
Yeah.
Got the win. But if you're looking at the teams that they may have to face in the playoffs, those teams are scoring.
If they get to the playoffs. If they get to the
playoffs. They're in a driving seat. Their percentage went up today, right? They're in a position. They're controlling their own destiny. They got 2 tough games coming up against the New York Football Giants that they need to win. But if they get there, they have to be able to put up more than 20 points. They're winning games now against teams. They can only play who's on their schedule.
I agree.
They only play who's on their schedule. They put up teams that don't score a lot of points, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the Cowboys, they score a lot of points. Look at the teams ahead of them. Philadelphia Eagles, we know they beat them a couple weeks ago, but they still put up a lot of points. They had to score a lot of points to do so. They had to score more than 19 to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They scored enough, I think, 32 points to beat the Philadelphia Eagles to win that game. So the Washington offense and / defense has to be able to score more than these points. That's a concern there. I'm not taking away from the win. The win is the win. Yeah. But it's just some things that I saw that was concerning to me. The offense still didn't execute effectively. Red zone was good, 2 for 3 today. I like to see be perfect in the red zone. You can't get all that, but they still need to be able to put some more points on the board. And key situations, because the key situation when they had the short field, 7 minutes left, they didn't get a first down when they needed to. They could have ran more time off the clock, and they gave the ball back to Atlanta.
Yeah, I thought the game's pretty much over anyway. I mean, luckily there's a run to the kicker, but yeah, I thought the game was pretty much, again, knowing who the quarterback is. I wasn't concerned about Atlanta throwing the football the length of the field to get in touchdown range. That's what annoyed me about the big pass play to the kid from Virginia, out of Virginia, the receiver. I was like, how can you give up like the yards that they catch like that? But in terms of like this game, I'm gonna say this with Washington fans, man. My man George said another big stop on goal to go. Washington defense continues to excel in that situation. I agree. They got a knack for it. I'm gonna something cosmetic, and the Washington now got their first win with the black uniforms. That's a good thing, I guess. For everybody who loves the black uniforms, Washington got their first W with the black uniforms. Obviously this was a big day. Sean Taylor's jersey. I guess I'm gonna say statue, but memorial was revealed. First off, do you think that kind of inspired the players, Glenn?
Yeah, man. Sean Taylor still inspired the players. I believe after 15 years, it's been 20 years. How long has it been?
It's been a while now. I gotta think.
About 17 years.
I feel like
it's been a while.
It's been such a long time now. But yeah, I thought it expired. I got to look it up. It's been such a long time.
I think that day is a day that everybody comes together. That day, everybody loves Sean Taylor. Everybody has the energy. Everybody has the excitement. His video packages. You wish the guy was still around to see some of this. That he's the love that he's getting. You know what I'm saying? It would have been great to still see him in a Washington uniform, even playing. If he had played all these years since he had passed away, it's good to bring energy. I like the Sean Taylor Day because I think it remembers a guy who's great, who's taken away from the organization, bring energy, excitement. The only outside I have the stadium. This team is winning. And they still can't feel the stadium.
They're winning, and they still can't feel it. That's work they're gonna have to do, man. It is what it is. This is something that they're just gonna have to. It's just gonna have to do, man. He died on 27. Yeah, it's about. And Sean Taylor's been about 15. You're right, 15 years. 15 years. Approach. Yeah, 15 years. Approach. Yeah, 15 years. Definitely. But yeah, it's gonna be hard to fill that stadium up, man. You're gonna have to win. You're gonna have to win at a high level. You're gonna have to do something. They gotta get to a point when they have an opportunity to win a division, or they're in the playoff and they can host a playoff game. That's just my opinion. I feel like that's when you're going to get this team and this fan base really pushing it, because everybody is they're not believers all the way, right? You see it on social media. Like, you're not a believer in the quarterback. You're not a believer in the coach. You still people question like timeouts and this, that, and the other with the coach. Everybody's not all in, which is unfortunate because the team is winning. And they're playing hard. Like, the defense is playing hard. Players on offense are playing hard. The offense is playing hard. Everyone's playing hard. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's playing hard. Special teams. Like, this whole unit is playing hard. You know what I mean? This whole team is playing hard. Excuse me. So you'd want that. You would want this. But I feel like when people really see the product of a team that has an opportunity to do something special, then I feel like that's when they're going to come out for this team.
Yeah, man, this team is whole playing hard. Man, I love the fact that this team is playing hard in spite of everything this team been through all season, right? in spite of the rumors being the team being sold, in spite of what's going on with the owner, in spite of all the fines that Ron Rivera got earlier,
Yeah.
this team has overcome a lot. The quarterback controversy, right? Um, just different things, and this team is playing still well,
Yep.
and they're
So
gelling together. And think about it, they won 6 out of the last 7,
yeah, man.
and they're one interception away from being winning the last 7 games.
True. This is true.
Right, one
Yeah.
Taylor Heineke interception away for being, for winning the last 7 games. Again,
Yeah.
this team is in position. They're fighters, right?
Yep.
What I like about it is when you talk about Ron Rivera all you want and everything, he's making sure this team is blocking out the outside noise
Yeah.
and focusing on football. Focus on what they can control, and what they can control is what happens on the field. Like you said, you mentioned they're playing hard.
Yeah.
They're
They
playing.
play.
They're fighting tooth and nail. Everybody's doing their job. So again, are they? Is they the best team in NFC East? I mean, in the NFC, probably not. But are they
Nah.
one of the best fighters right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably they're probably not the best team in the NFC East. Not best team in the NFC, but I think are they the best fighters? The more grit. I think they got the best grit in the NFC.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think they have the most grit.
That's good. And we'll
So
see.
yeah, so for you, when we put this poll out there on our all Burgundy and Go Everything Twitter page, check it out. It's at ABG_everything. Who is the game MVP for the Commanders today? So far we got 75% Brian Robinson Jr., 15% Deron Payne, and 10% Kendall Fuller. Who is your MVP?
I'm at Brian Robinson Jr. And I
Yeah.
think because what happened when I say usually my MVP is there's a lot of those third downs, 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s, where Scott Turner actually ran the football and
Mm-hmm.
Brian Robinson picked up 10, right?
Yes,
Or
man.
Jonathan Williams picked up 10. They
Yeah.
didn't just pick up the yardage gain. They was running hard and they were lowering their shoulder. And that's what you expect a running back to do. Know the distance, know the down and distance, put his shoulder down and drive and go. I think that was one of the key places. And some of the cuts that he made today, right? I mean, if you didn't think he was 100% healthy, some of the reads that he made today on the stretch reads could get
Man.
into the
Yeah.
cutback lanes. Though that's what you ask for a running back to do. Get inside, read the offense, read the defense, cut back out, and hit the cutback lane. Brian Robinson Jr. today was good. And we saw that he could catch the football, right? It wasn't just running. He catch the football as well. So today he's my MVP, man. I think the guy did a great job. The Washington Commanders' future is bright at running back.
Yeah, I thought he's my MVP too, man. I just thought he was so physical, man. He was dominant. You know what I'm saying? Like he looked like a Bama boy. Like he did. He looked like a Bama boy. Like the first dude couldn't take him down. He just fought. He ran mean. Like I mean, can I say like a poor man's Derrick Henry type of runner? Like that's how he looked. Like he was pushing. He was pushing the huddle. He was doing everything, man. Like when they got into that crowd, he was pushing it. Like and they couldn't bring him down. You saw that when the touchdown reception. He trucked that man. Like he trucked that man. Like that man was hurting. He was embarrassed on he was embarrassed on Fox. That man was embarrassed on Fox. Brian Robinson Jr. put him on ESPN. He put him on ESPN. I don't know if they still do. I don't know what highlight reels they do back now on ESPN. Let me take that back. He put him on ESPN and for highlight packages. That's going to did the old boy. But I just think that right now, when we're looking at it, we're looking what Brian Robinson's doing for this football team. He's doing some good work, and he's getting better, man. He's getting better every game. He's getting better. And like you said earlier, Glenn, could you imagine if the situation never happened to him, this kid would be being 100% and knowing he has the offer offer as a running back for the Washington Commanders, fresh. But now, he had to get himself acclimated, get himself back, get himself healthy. And I think, the fans are seeing what people expected to see before the season even started.
Yeah, and then now you can do different things with Antonio Gibson. With a fresh Brian Robinson, you can put Antonio Gibson in the slot. You can go 2 back in the backfield. You can do different things. You can go tight end. So you can do a lot of different things. That again, the offensive coordinator. I can't say his name 3 times. We have problems. But the offensive coordinator now can have a lot of toys that we mentioned to play with. We mentioned, as I said, coming up, this Washington team has great momentum going into this game against the New York Football Giants. After the New York Football Giants, got to remember too that this Washington team has a bye. Finally get a break, right? They have a late bye. And then you talk about a late bye with this team getting a late bye, refreshing, maybe bringing some pieces back. Chase Young may come back, who was active. this team might be defensively maybe a little scary for a lot of teams. And when they get if they can get into playoff, because you see the Giants are going backwards a little bit. The Giants started up. Now the Giants are going back, coming off a loss against the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving night. So this team right now is building energy. They believe in each other. You can see the energy from this team, energy from the coaching staff, energy from the fans. Even though the fans are not 100% believers in Taylor Heineke, I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe that's our next poll question. What is it going to take for fans to really believe in this guy, right? Not as being your starting quarterback, but to be able to get wins, because we've seen quarterbacks who were not the pivotal quarterback win Super Bowls, right? I think about a Nick Foles. I think about a Jeff Hostetler, right? Who was the backup guys who came in.
For Giants,
I said a guy again, a Trent Dilfer who won Super Bowls. I'm not saying this team he's there yet, but they got the organization in the playoffs. And the thing is, this team needs to just get in the playoffs to continue to have a winning season. I know people say they won the division years ago. 7-9 is it's not a winning season. I'm sorry. 7-9 is not a winning season. Just because if you look at the NFC South right now, every team in there has a losing record. So you want this team to be able to just be on the upward swing where everything's going on.
Yeah, I think that people believe in Heineke if it wasn't like a roller coaster experience. You know what I'm saying? Like just with consistency, man. I think that's what people would want, like the consistency, and then everybody would be good with it. For me, like I'm with you though. I think at the time we got to stop questioning what he is as a quarterback. We know what he is. I feel like we know what he is, man. Just it is what it is. There's nothing to really state. Like you know what he is. Yeah. So and you're winning with it. So just go with it. It's like a Tebow effect.
Yep.
Folks knew what Tebow was about. They knew who Tim Tebow was, right? Like you knew what Tim Tebow was. You knew who he was. So the same thing applies here. Like you know who Taylor Heineke is. So why even worry about it? Like you know. So there's no pressure. There's no, oh man, like we need Taylor. Like we need to have this type of quarterback. The issue is this. Like anything in life, if you gambling or something and you're doing something the same way, and it's been working, and you've been winning, you've been making money, right? Are you gonna change it?
Nah, dog.
Nah. So I don't. So we gotta stop like hoping that certain people play this, that, the other. Because at the end of the day, like I said, like it ain't changing nothing. Like we ain't trying to change that. It is what it is. We're getting this W. Like you're getting this W. So why would you want to change getting a W? Like this other dude may be more prolific as a passer, but say he loses the football game. What do you feel about that? They lost. Yep. And it may not be that player's fault. It really may not be the quarterback's fault. But you're messing with something that's kind of been working.
Yeah. Hey, let's be honest. Washington fans can't blame the losses on Carson Wentz.
Nah, because there was a lot of different elements. It wasn't just Carson. The defense wasn't playing like this either.
Defense wasn't playing.
And the game plan wasn't the same. I'm gonna say that the game plan wasn't the same. They weren't running the ball like this.
And they weren't running the ball like this. So there was a lot of things that it wasn't all a Carson Wentz situation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it wasn't all Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was the quarterback. Of course, you want to put it on the quarterback.
Of course.
It wasn't all that. So, is Heineke more mobile? Yes.
Yes. He gets out of plays, man. He gets out of bad situations. That's a fact.
That's the fact. He got out of bad situations. And I think that was one of the keys that's there. He get out of bad situations. And so, again, this team won a football game. This team has won 6 out of 7. This team is moving. Ron Rivera is talking about, this team, I know teams, they're in a playoff hunt. I don't want to say this is a playoff team. They're in a playoff hunt. Don't want to get too excited because they still have some tough games. Think about it. They got the New York Giants twice, and then they have the 49ers. So, which is a team that leads the NFC West right now. So you have there's potentially those 3 football games make a difference. So the Commanders have to continue to keep this thing motivated and keep it going.
Yeah, I agree. So, Glenn, you mentioned some like your negatives about like certain plays, but in terms of some of the things you didn't mention, what was some of the, we've been talking about some positives. We've been talking about some of the good positives. But what are some of the negatives that you didn't mention, like you haven't mentioned yet, that you thought stood out to you, that you just didn't like?
Still third downs.
Okay.
Third down. They still had third down situations. The Washington Commanders in their third down, they were still 5 for 12 on third down efficiency.
Yeah.
You have to be a little bit better, right?
Yep.
Have to be a little bit better on third down efficiency instead of less than 50%. Make it third and manageable. I know some of those were the fact that Atlanta maybe put them in a tough situation. It goes back to what you said earlier. Yeah. Sometimes Scott Turner didn't call the obvious play, right? The obvious play is 3rd and 1, run the
Run the
freaking
football.
football, right? 3rd and 1, making a 2-down territory, a
Yeah.
2-down situation. You're averaging 4 or 5 yards a pop. So if it's 3rd and 1, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm going to run the football.
Exactly.
So that, to me, that's still alarming to me. The 3rd down situation for the Washington Commanders is 3rd downs. And I think that's one of the keys to me. They have to be able to sustain drives when they can. I watched it. Shoot, I watched a play from a couple years ago with Taylor Heineke when they played Tampa Bay. I believe it was last year.
Yeah, last year. Talking about last year.
Last year, Tampa Bay, and they controlled. They had a 10-minute drive.
Oh, they killed that
11-minute drive to seal it against Tampa Bay. That's what you're looking for. I was expecting something like that to happen today with the Washington Commanders to be able to kill it, continue to march down the field, good play selection. But on 3rd down, keep it manageable. But to me, alarming thing again is 3rd down, and again, special teams when it comes to returners. I think you still need to have those returners.
Yeah, you're talking about that they need a returner. Like Washington has some.
Washington needs a returner.
Yeah, I agree. Which kind of annoyed me. What annoyed me was I was watching the game. They said that Washington had issues covering against returners. I'm like, Washington's done well against returners.
Yeah,
I was like, you obviously didn't do your homework, my man from Fox. But
Washington hasn't had a kick return on them.
Yeah, I was like, and they have really been good against I was like, you're not doing your homework. But I know Kadero Patterson's like that, but he like I'm saying, like Washington's done pretty well against returners. Oh my man, George, look at this first half throw and the one that nearly got intercepted on the second TD drive. Hard to put your full faith and credit in someone who regularly makes throws like that. I know, hey George, I'm just saying, like, hey, it is what it is. Like, that's what I'm gonna say. Like, Tim, look, I'm on this. This is me. I'm gonna keep saying this. He has a Tim Tebow effect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if we're here locally, let's just embrace it locally.
Yep.
Nationally, they can say what they want to say, because I feel like, again, he has to. If you watch a Taylor Heineke game, you have a good idea of what he has to offer and what he doesn't have to offer, and you know what kind of throws he can make and what throws he can't make. And because even a play that almost got intercepted by AJ Terrell, if he had a decent NFL arm, that would have been a completion.
Yes.
The ball took forever to get there because his arm wasn't as strong. You know what I'm saying? So that it is what it is. It's all about now. This is the thing that Taylor Heineke is going to have to understand for himself. Now I'm talking about him, but this is being real. This is real advice, though. This is me not being negative. He's going to have to understand his game and what he has to offer, his physical limitations. He has to understand his physical limitations. That is the problem. He doesn't understand his physical limitations. Once he understands his physical limitations, I think he could be a better quarterback.
I think we've seen that, though. I think he understands what he can and cannot do. He's not running as much today. When he had opportunity to have lanes, he's trying to find the crossing routes. They're running different routes for him to get guys open with crossing routes to get defenders having to switch off and pick up receivers. Scott Turner is putting in him situations where he has to he's going to make the correct decision.
Yeah,
those two balls, the ball where he almost got picked, George, he was trying to throw it over the linebacker's head. He just couldn't do it.
Yeah, limitations though. He ain't good enough. He ain't good enough. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He don't know.
He didn't have the touch to throw it over the linebacker.
But that's the thing. It's like that's not even his kind of throw. Like when you look at him, that's not even his kind of throw. Like your throws are. I mean, it sucks to say it, but wide open dudes coming off crossers, they're wide open.
Right.
Like where you kind of anticipate it, they're wide open. But it's not. You're not built. It's the truth. You're not built to fit things through small windows. It is what it is. You're just not built that way. That's not his game. My man Walter Mahone said, "Your team, Washington Redskins, talk about us all day. It's time to stop it." He's a Cowboys fan. Gotta be a Cowboys fan. Nobody's talking about y'all.
Yeah, nobody.
You gotta be a Cowboys fan, bro.
Haven't even mentioned.
We talk about them, bro. If you're Cowboys fans, nobody talking about y'all.
But again, swing routes and all that, man. But what was your negative?
My negative, I mean, you special teams. My man Joey Slye missed the kick, so that sucked. I didn't like how physical. My negative, I thought Atlanta was more physical for most of the game than Washington, which I didn't like. I thought the way they ran, you knew they were going to run the football, and they did it, and they kept doing it. Like, I didn't like that because you knew, which was different from Washington. You had threats on the outside. Like, you had multiple threats on the outside in Washington. You had Curtis Samuel. You had Scary Terry. You got Jahan Dotson. So I can see why Atlanta would be worried about those weapons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Atlanta has Drake London and a bunch of guys, and they don't have Kyle Pitts. So if I'm Washington, I'm taking away your run. I'm making you beat me. Like I'm making Mariota beat me. Like I'm putting people on the block, and we're going. Like I'm taking away Patterson, and I'm taking away boy from is it BYU he played for? Not BYU.
As a Dakis,
No, the running back they have I want to say I want Boise or BYU. I can't remember which one I think.
Algier.
Algier, yeah. I'm taking Algier. I'm taking them away. I am stacking my box to take them away.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make Drake. I want you to throw for 300 yards. Like
Yeah.
I'm going for that. Like that's how. And I was mad that they didn't play that type of game because, like, it got to a point where you're letting them dictate. You know what I'm saying? And two teams are gonna play a certain way. Like two teams want to win the time of possession. So like we joked around like, oh, this game is done fast. Like that's what happens when you have two running teams. But if that's the case, you have more weapons. They have limits of weapons because Kyle Pitts is out, right? That mismatch. Right. Why not? Like, hey, Mariota, beat us. Like I know they're missing St. Juice, Washington, but still, you should still feel confident enough. Like I mentioned, Kendall Fuller is probably playing his best football in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like have him on London and then and work off everybody else. And I felt like, in my opinion, I didn't like that. I didn't like that they were getting beat physically by Atlanta. Also, I guess like the offense, like it's just in terms. I like the way they ran the football. I like the theme of running the football and focusing on Brian Robinson to run the football and using three dudes. I love that. Like, but do it more. My man Ray, Ray, another co-host, one of the co-hosts who's watching the game, who went to FedEx to watch the game, said good game. I would like to run on certain situations. I like you to have the identity of, you know what, it's third and 3. If I'm going for it, it's 3rd and 3. And like you said, Glenn, Brian Robinson's averaging 5.8 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And pushing it, I'm running on 3rd and 3.
Yeah.
And because I know on 4th down, I'm probably going to be close enough to get it on 4.
Yeah.
There's no need to chance it with Taylor Heineke throwing a pass and feeling like, oh, we didn't get it on 3rd down. Like, you know what I mean? There's no need to chance that when you can get a 1st down and you can move the ball. And what else? You can still keep that clock rolling and add to that time of possession battle.
And you wear down Atlanta. You wear down your team that you're playing against.
So for me, like, that's the thing. But in the grand scheme of things, I feel like beggars can't be choosers when it comes to Scott Turner. And like, he is doing what I wanted. You know, they're running the football and they're winning football games doing it. Like, I've been asking for this when that O-line looked horrible. Like, I've been asking for it, like when Carson didn't have any time in the pocket to throw the football, when Carson wasn't able to go through his progressions or he just was slow in his progressions. I was like, you know what? Make it easy for the whole offense. Run the football. You got guys who can run it. Tony that rock and run it. And now they're doing it. They're doing it with Taylor Heineke, and it's working. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not putting the pressure on Taylor Heineke to win a football game. Like you said, Douglas, when the competition goes up, when you're playing, it's going to change a little bit. When you play the 49ers, when you play the Cowboys, those are like the two teams I think that you're going to have better quarterback play to beat them.
And I think a game, too, that Washington may want to not look over, it's a Cleveland Brown game with Deshaun Watson.
Oh, yeah, when he's back. You're right. That, too.
See, that's the game. That's the catch game that's on the circle. That's the catch game.
They just beat with Brissett. They just beat Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They just beat Tampa. So, yeah. Oh, and I agree with you. You can't sleep on that game.
You can't sleep on that game. The other thing was, Jahan Dotson would point out Jahan Dotson no catch today. Matter of fact, I believe there was no targets today.
Yeah, he's not. I don't know if he's 100%. I mean, I feel like, yes, you're right. But also, it's who's throwing the football. Like, it's limitations. What I mean by that is, like, you want to make sure that he throws the ball to the right people where it's easier. It's an easy read. It's an easy pitch and catch. And what the play is designed for. I would like to see Jahan Dotson get more opportunities. I think he's a dynamic wide receiver. But Scary Terry, he locks on Scary Terry. I think everybody knows that, and we prefer Scary to get the ball over Jahan. I think that's where we're at.
And that's the switch over quarterback because if you look up earlier, Wentz was
Jahan. He was looking at Jahan.
Jahan wasn't hitting his Scary. I think the other key here with this Washington team, we haven't talked about it, was Force. Force is
man.
Yo, he's a player. He's a
He's a
baller.
player.
The
Five.
tackles that Dave Forrest was making was great tackles. He was able to come up and help this run defense, right? Putting down in the box. I think that's something that people may overlook today. And matter of fact, Jameis Davis did a good job today too.
Man, he stayed. That boy playing. That boy
Jameis
playing.
Davis
I'm
is.
sorry.
We don't give him much credit. And I'm going to give him credit here because we
I
talked about
should put
him
him
last
on it.
year.
I
Jameis
should put him on
Davis,
the list.
even now, he's gotten better covering running backs out of the backfield.
Yes.
He's gotten better earlier in the season. But if you go back to the play, look at the game today, he was better covering running backs out of the backfield. Kudos to Jamin Davis being a good athlete and improving his game throughout the season.
So you on the pause, you on the flowers tip. My man, Tony Livingston, I know it is. Turner almost cost us another W. Heineke definitely has to play better, but Turner has to get all the wide receivers involved. Stop blaming Heineke because he's proven you wrong. Do you see the interception? I know who you are, T-Liv. Did you see the interception? I don't think he's proving me that wrong.
No.
I mean, as a passer, I don't think he's proving me that wrong. But I'm happy we're getting W's. As a winner, he's proving me wrong, but not as a passer.
If you win, my thing is this: you win a football game. If you win a football game when running, why throw it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why throw if you win a football games, run the football? Scott Turner is doing what he needs to do to win football games right now. This is one thing I'll say about Scott. He's doing what he needs to do to win football games. So he feels like he has to run the football. To win football games, he's running the football to win football games. My issue with Scott Turner, though, T-Liv, for you is my issue with him, which we do agree, is that when it's 3rd and 1, I don't want play action. I'm cool with running the football. I want to get the first down.
What I've noticed, and I've seen this, and I watched a lot of kind of football games over the weekend. And you see this is it must be a trend and an offensive coordinating calling now, where you see especially on short yardage. You see a lot of more jet sweeps and sweep things.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. It's starting to be trendy. It's starting to
be trending instead of going the traditional 3rd and 1 right up the middle. You start seeing a lot of things going on to the outside now. So it's a trend there where 3rd and 1, you want to get everybody scrunching their defensive end, and they're making wide receivers block and getting to the outside edge and picking up that 1 yard that way. So you're starting to see a lot of that. You know what's funny is people, and I'm a big, again, I like running the football.
Yeah.
You don't see Tennessee Titan fans complain when their quarterback only throws the ball 11 times or 9 times or 12 times in a game because of Derrick Henry. Yeah. And the Washington team is running. I mean, Taylor Heineke only threw 23 times instead.
Yeah.
Which is a big cry because people complain when he throws 45 and 50 times.
Oh, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the amount of passes. I thought it was great. I told you I have an issue with situational runs. Like that's my thing. Like if it's 3rd and 1, I want to run the ball.
Yeah, by far.
3rd and 1, I want to run the ball. Like I don't care. I want to run the ball.
3rd and 1 to me is like
especially if you're watching the same game I'm watching. If you watch this, I mean, it's not like 3rd and 1 and then they're the Baltimore Ravens of 2000. They getting you stuck. They sticking you. No, I'm carrying folks. Turner is the worst situational play caller alive. Okay, now we agree.
Now we agree.
Now we agree.
I totally agree with you, Tony. I agree with
that.
I agree with you. I agree. Willie never tell me. I'll be in the group chat like, yo, that sucks. Back off.
That sucks. I'm serious. I'm like, dude, like if a dude is averaging 5 yards to carry and it's 3rd and 1, why would I want to run? Why would I want to throw the ball? Yeah. Like for real. Like why would I do that? That's like watching football in the 90s. Emmitt Smith is gashing folks with that dope Dallas offensive line, and they're gonna throw the ball. No, you're gonna run the football. George, at least they went for it on 4th and 1 after passing on 3rd and 1. Yeah, they did, but they chanced it, but they did. I'd rather have 2 opportunities to get that one than 1 opportunity, though. I'll say that much on the ground. I'd rather get 2 opportunities on the ground and get that one. That's just me though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you don't have a dynamic offense. I feel like when you don't have a dynamic quarterback, you get what you can get. If you get first down, just get the first down. But that's just me though. I think differently. But they won a football game. We all should be happy. We all should be, on to the next one. Like Glenn mentioned, the Giants are next, right, Glenn?
Yeah, Giants are next.
Giants are next.
Giants are the next 2 games. I mean, Giants, and then 49ers.
Ooh, that Niners game, boy. That Niners game is something else. It's going to be something special.
I mean, if we get 2 wins, I mean, if you figure they get 2 wins over the Giants, they're coming in.
I know, right? Back to back. That's crazy.
Back to back. Coming in 2 wins over the Giants. You're coming in, 9-5?
Yeah, if you can, this is the thing. That you have an opportunity to put yourself in a good situation if you get that W, get 2 W's against the Giants. Like 9-5, that type of record, I think folks should be ecstatic, right? For real. Yeah. Like 9-5. How this season started, and you can go 9-5. And then if you're 9-5, I'm a firm believer in winning is contagious. So if you're 9-5 and going against San Fran, you're gonna feel like, why can't we do it, right? So I'm a believer in that. But this has been a dope show. Hey man, again, Washington fans, we
I think we
beat,
got somebody want to get on, man.
huh?
I think we got somebody want to get on. You want to let Ray in, man? We got
Oh, well,
some.
Ray, let Ray in there if he want to get on. I ain't know he want to get on.
Hold on.
Oh, what's up, Ray Jeezy? What's
Hey,
good, Ray?
what's good, man?
What's up, dog? I ain't know you want to be on. What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
I was hopping in for a second just to say what's up.
What's up, bro?
It was
Oh yeah, how
a
was
good
it? How
day.
was the environment? How many Atlanta fans was there, dog? How many Atlanta fans were there?
I mean, it was enough. It was. If I had to put a percentage on it, it was probably 70-30, 70% Commanders fan, but they all had on Skins jerseys, which was dope. The Sean Taylor tribute was actually good this time around.
It was good. So it was good to you?
It was a good environment overall, and everybody was stressed at the end, but us, we thought at the 2-yard line, first and goal, he's like, oh yeah, about to punch this in. So big play on defense, though. I'm not mad. Yeah. Mariota versus Heineke. Who would have thought?
I have a question for you, though. Since you're Atlanta fan, man, I have a question for you. Do you think they should have ran the ball?
Everybody thought they should have ran
the
ball.
You know what? I mean, of course, I was recording. I was looking to see Cordell Patterson running in, but at the same time, I think he was throwing to Patterson on that play. He was open. It was a good pass. Mariota actually played pretty good, and he ran well.
He ran well.
It was just a battle of run games, man.
He ran well. Like, he ran well.
He ran well. So I wasn't mad. But Arthur Smith, even the 4th and 1 at the end of the half, I thought was dumb. And then Heineke
to go for
threw a horrible pick. So interesting two teams, man, middle of the pack teams, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, that 4th and 1, bring it up real quick. That 4th and 1 wasted a lot of time off the clock on both sides. Ron didn't call a timeout. Arthur Smith allowed a whole bunch of time run off the clock. Didn't call a timeout. Just to go for it, right? To me, it was a lot. It was clock management.
It's just they're very similar teams.
I'll say this real quick, and I know y'all done anyway, but even though the field held up pretty good, I think that's what messed Terry up today. I just think the conditions is what limited him from getting open, because Terry is a great route runner, and AJ Terrell, who I love him, but I think that's still a mismatch, and I just feel like Terry just couldn't find his footing based on what I saw. But
yeah. I think a lot of players losing their footing on both sides. You saw Gibson had plays where he slipped and fell when he had an opportunity to get a first down. Did it look that bad, right?
No, the field looked it looked much better than what we saw in the past from FedEx.
Okay.
But in terms of just watching Terry run his routes, he couldn't get going. He couldn't get going at all, man. So it was hard for Heineke to get him the ball. I know everybody was complaining. They throw the ball to Terry. I was like, nah, he's not open right now, man. He's taking what the defense is giving him. So Heineke's okay, man. To me, his height affects him because he had some people open. He missed too.
I know he had people open. He always had people open.
He does. He had some people open. And Mariota did the same thing. Drake London was open all game. I swear he was. But anyway, good game, y'all. I'll catch y'all Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it is.
All right, it's probably Wednesday, not Tuesday. I hoop on Tuesdays now.
All right, man.
All right, dude. Hey, yeah, man. I mean, it was I think, and to kind of copy what Ray said, I think those teams, like he's in the middle of the pack, I think they're very, very similar teams. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like in terms of outside threats, Washington has more outside threats. But in terms of what this team is built to do right now, they're very similar. Like, and quarterback play, right? Like, there is some limitations with quarterback play. I would say that Mariota is probably slightly better in the regards of he's willing. He's a threat. He's a threat with those feet. I know Taylor's a threat, but not like Mariota.
And Mariota was one of the guys that Washington was considering in the offseason.
Yeah. So I think limitations passing the football. I think there's definitely limitations passing the football. But running the football, Mariota is a guy that could, that gives you issues. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're going to run that type of offense. If you're going to run read option and something that we saw him do in Oregon in college, that he did in Tennessee too as well. And he's done well at it over his football career. So I do think that.
Yeah, tough guy.
Yeah, he's a tough. It's tough for Washington. I said it before. Like, if you got a D line that likes to rush the quarterback, it's tough, man. And shout out to my man Montez Sweat, dog. Got a sack. He keeps getting sacks, man. Keep jumping them numbers up so this fan base can respect you and say, like, hey, we gotta make sure we bring back Sweat too. It's starting to always be about Deron Payne. I love Deron Payne. I want him back too. I want them all back. I'm that person. I want them all back.
All that means is Carson Wentz is out of town, so they can say
That's cool. I'm cool with that. I'm
They
cool with
can
that.
say
I'm about. This is a whole different show, but I'm all about getting a quarterback on a cheap deal or a quarterback on a rookie deal. I'm all
Yeah.
for that.
Oh yeah.
I'm all for that. All right, man. Great show. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Podcasts. Just search all Burgundy and Go Errrything. Also tweet us at ABG underscore Errrything and hit us up on IG at ABG underscore Errrything and like our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything YouTube channel as well. Hit that red button to subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and like this video. Anyway, we appreciate y'all. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold Errrything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio. 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. For Aegis, you dig? Deuces, a mega. Lead us out, big homie.